Hey, Tia Torres here, and this is my second episode of Wild Instincts, but you already knew that. I'm kind of excited. I'm liking this. Even though this is kind of like a storytelling, it is going to apply to what I spoke about, which is how I learned about dog training, but a completely different way than the average person. I feel so fortunate to have had this experience and opportunity. So let me get right into it. Last we were here, I was offered an opportunity of a lifetime. Remember that? Okay. So living in a small town, Agua Dulce, California, believe it or not, I don't know why, but there was several animal training companies for the film industry. They all seemed to congregate there. And I know it's a very controversial topic. And yes, some of these people took horrible care of their animals, but I was approached by a company who, again, trained animals for the film industry and commercials and whatnot. And it was ran by a man from England. And it's just funny. I always seem to migrate to people from the UK. I don't know if it's just some kind of a connection, but he happened to be from England originally. And his name was Brian McMillan. And he came to me and said, hey, I understand you have a rescue for wolf dogs, wolf dog mixes. And he said, we are doing a movie and we would like to talk to you about renting some of your dogs. I know that sounds gross, but it's actually common in that industry. And what that means is that, let's say they're doing a commercial and they need a Chinese crested dog. Okay. They're kind of rare. So what they'll do is they'll look for somebody who privately owns one, and they will pay that person a fee to use their animal. And sometimes the owner gets to come with the dog, or if the dog is very social, she hands the dog over to the trainers and they go do a photo shoot or whatever with the dog. So it sounds worse than it kind of is. Anyways, he said we would need to rent like 6 or 7 of them. And I said, well, first of all, these wolf dogs, I mean, a lot of them have wolfy behavior. They're not going to like take to anybody but me. So probably no. Also, they're not trained to do anything. But, thanks for the offer. So they asked if they could see them. And I took them up the hill to where I kept all the wolf dogs. And at the time, I probably had about 40 of them. And they were very impressed about, how the animals were kept. And I had very secure enclosures. All the animals looked great. And they left and said, okay, we understand, this is for a movie. And, we would put the training in them. And I'm like, yeah, no, thanks, but no thanks. Well, they ended up contacting me, I want to say just a couple of days later, and said, okay, we're going to sweeten the deal. How about you come with them? And we're going to train you to train them. And I was like, huh, okay. Now, I had a lot of animal handling experience. I mean, I grew up on horses and livestock, and I rodeoed my whole life. I trained horses for a living. So I had training knowledge, but not for the film industry. So they told me what I would be getting paid and all this good stuff. And I was just like, and that was way more money than I would have ever made working at Petco, which is where I was working at the time. The money was phenomenal. So now I'm thinking that this is just going to be like some local movie. Mind you, I had 2 kids at the time. I mean, I still do, but now I was still living on the main Villalobos Rescue Center property, but I was separated permanently from my then partner, which was my daughter Mariah's father. I was at the time living in a camper trailer, and he was living in the house. We were done. Okay, so I didn't really need to consult with him, but of course, my concern were my kids, and primarily Mariah, because she was still very young. She was only 5 years old at the time. So I said, well, is this like a full-time job? Is it every day? Is it Monday through Friday? And they said, well, for a while it will be, for a few months, but then when we go shoot the movie, you're going to be on location. And I said, oh, well, where's location? I'm thinking like Los Angeles. And they said, no. Have you ever heard of Sri Lanka? I'm like, say what? And they said, it's basically an island off the coast of India. Wait, come again? Oh, are you crazy? I can't go to India, Sri Lanka, wherever the hell it is. And, wow. So I forgot how long, how many days, they kept coming at me and sweetening the deal and telling me how it would be and just the opportunity it would be. And when they told me it was going to be for the remake of the movie, The Jungle Book, and I would be working around all types of animals, they said people would kill for this opportunity. I'm like, I know, you're right. And then when I figured out the timing of it all, I realized that there was going to be one big sacrifice that I would have to make. And it wasn't, my dogs being trained. It wasn't me having to give up a job at Petco that I had been working at for quite a while. It wasn't leaving the country, but it was going to be that I was going to be missing a big milestone in one of my daughter's lives. And once I figured out like when we would be leaving and then how long we would be gone, it was then that I realized that I would be missing Mariah's very first day of school, kindergarten, like her first day ever in school. And there was a lot of guilt. I'm like, wow. I needed the independence to get away, to move away or do something with my ex, John, because we were still living on the property together and we couldn't stay living like that. We hadn't quite decided yet what was going to happen with the property. I mean, I told him that I needed to stay there because I had my rescue there, but he wasn't about to leave. He's like, no, I bought this property. I'm not leaving either. Now, mind you, we had been together for 12 years. So I was his common law wife with his child. And even his own attorney told him, if she takes you to court, she's going to get half of everything. So you need to work this out. But I didn't want to be a shithead. I didn't want to go to court. So I needed to find independence. I needed to figure something out. And as I started calculating all the money that I would be making and all the knowledge and the training that I would receive, this could be it. This was what I needed to be free and be able to raise my daughters on my own. I needed to find that strength and that confidence and that independence. And in order to do so, this big sacrifice would have to be made at the expense of my youngest daughter. So I guess you'll have to wait to the next episode to hear how that played out. All right, y'all. Until the next time, stay wild, stay free. I don't know. I don't even know why I said that.